Hi guys, it's Stribbers and welcome to episode 9 of PGR2 Road to Platinum in the arcade mode. So we've been working our way through the timed runs, we've only got 8 more to do now. So we're going to be doing 4 more in today's episode in the cruising altitude section, which includes timed runs 13 to 16, and these are all 2 laps for this episode. So we'll be jumping into the first timed run, 2 laps in Moscow in the Ferrari 575, and coming back into this car I realised how much this does understeer, so it's quite difficult to get used to when you first get back into it. It's fairly quick, but it is a bit difficult to get used to. So we have a target of 56 seconds per lap, a nice round number there, and this track can be a little bit complicated to navigate. Especially that jump section, that can be quite tricky. You can get that very wrong by going too quickly and not braking either before you lift off or as soon as you land, because you really need to kick the car into a slide around there to get to the right hand side without hitting the barrier, of course. And this corner is also quite difficult because you can't go flat out around there, because you do understeer into the wall, as I did find out a few times. So that's another difficult corner, and also this section you have to keep very far over to the left when you jump so you don't hit that barrier on the right hand side, as I found out multiple times, as this took me quite a few attempts to get this one right. Yeah, it's a bit difficult to get used to this track and this car, and I found it difficult to actually get around the track without crashing, to be honest, but we'll see if I do manage to do it. So again, coming over there, braking as soon as I land, and the car kicks into a little slide just to get the back end round, pointing us in the right direction. And it can be quite easy to get late on the brakes as well, so you've got to be early with those. And we do just understeer, well, we go over the curb on 2 wheels, and obviously that stops us turning. So we did crash into the barrier. That happens quite a lot to us, but still, we had a decent first lap, so we got to see how we do. Over the jump and across the line again, so both laps were under the target of what we needed, so that's pretty decent really. About 9/10 we passed by, so that's much more comfortable than what we normally pass by. Normally it's around 2 to 4 tenths. It has been in the previous time runs we've done, but that one's certainly more comfortable than we have done it in the past, and we get 5,000, pretty much 900 kudos for that. So not a bad event at all. So that's the first one done, guys. We're going to move on to timed run number 14. Second one for the episode. 2 laps in Sydney, and we'll be using the Mazda Miata MX-5, which is a bit of a different car than the 575. A bit harder to get used to. Obviously the 575 is fairly quick. Not the quickest in the game, but certainly not bad at all. And then we go into pretty much the slowest car in the game. I'd say probably only the Volvo's slower, I'm not really sure. But we need 44 seconds per lap. And this straight here, it really does take ages to get down the straight, this car. It's whatever, it feels like an eternity. But we finally get to the corner, and this does understeer as well. Not quite as much as the 575. And we come to this last corner here where you can go on the curb, get on the brakes and go round that corner, but I did go a little bit too slow round there, as we see by the first lap. 44.2, so we're a little bit under what we need. So we'll have to get used to the car and try and get a better second lap in. You can go quicker than you think with this car, getting used to it. You do brake a bit too much sometimes, so you don't go around the corners as quickly as you possibly could. So that can be a bit annoying, but getting these corners right this time, on the power on the way out, just about having enough room to get away with that. And again for this last corner, going on the curb on the left hand side, dabbing the brakes, hitting that apex there, and we do actually kick it into a little bit of a slide, but we use more of the width that time, and that was a much better lap on the second run there, as we do get under 43 seconds. So that's pretty decent there. And we do pass by 7/10 on the way to 8/10, so again, More comfortable than we normally pass it by. So, can't really complain with that. And we do get 5,500 kudos for that event. Not too many in-game kudos. But again, it's a pretty small track and you're in a slow car. So I didn't expect too many style points to come out in that one. But that's half the events done for this episode, guys. So we've only got 2 more to do. So it's not looking too bad so far. Now we move on to timed run number 15. A little bit more of a complicated circuit, this one. 2 laps in Hong Kong using the BMW M3. Car that I'm pretty used to from the World Series, as I've nearly put 26 miles on the clock. And we need a target of 143.75 per lap. So we'll have to see how we do, and it's not looking good so far, as we do crash into the barrier on pretty much the first corner. So not the best start. But I did have a few attempts before this, so I didn't think it slowed me down too much, so I carried on to see how we could do round here. And was sliding a bit too much around those corners there. It really does slow you down doing that, so it's quite hard to navigate that section. That being said, we do just crash into the wall there though. I knew that was coming. So we lost the clean race twice, but that's quite a difficult corner to navigate that one as well. If you go up the crest and then go down the crest, you do lose the ability to turn when you're just going over the top of it. So that's pretty easy to crash into the wall there, so you have to brake quite a lot before you turn. But the BMW's handling is very good. Compared to the 575 and the Mazda that we've just used, which both understeer quite a bit, this one's got pretty decent handling, so I can't complain in the handling department driving this. But we've not had the best lap so far, I must say, so we'll have to see how we do when we do cross the line. Last couple of corners now before the first lap is done. Been a bit wide there, but still managing to get on the apex. Getting on the curb there, and that's not too bad a corner round there. And again, the same as the Mazda, we are a couple tenths down on the first lap. So we do need to pull it back with the second lap, so we better make sure it's a good one. Can we start by not hitting the wall on the first corner? And we do indeed. So that's not too bad at all. Coming through this section, which you can do full speed. Just trying to fight the car sliding out there, and can we do this section better? Keeping a bit closer to the inside of the wall there, allowing us to accelerate on the way out without changing direction too much, and that means that we don't kick it out into a slide, so that's a lot smoother through there. And again, coming to this corner, and we do actually lose the control a little bit on the brakes, getting a bit wobbly there, so we do hit the wall in exactly the same place as the first lap. So that's a bit annoying, slowing us down again, but oh well, we'll see how we do for the rest of the lap. Not doing that quite as cleanly as the first lap, that hairpin. But overall, I don't think we're doing too bad so far. This lap seems to be going okay. Better than the first one. We've only crashed once, so that's better than crashing twice. Going a bit too wide on that one, not really hooking up with the apex there, but getting away with that just about. So we have to see how we can do on these last couple corners before the finish line. Sticking nice and close to the apex there, and again riding the curb, nearly hitting the barrier there, but crossing the line with under a 43 seconds, or a 1 minute 43. So that's pretty nice there. Again, the second lap did redeem us, like we did with the Mazda. So we end up passing by about 7 tenths there, so it's not too bad at all, between 6 and 7 tenths. So the 3 episodes we've done so far, well the 3 events, sorry, have been more comfortable than what we normally pass the events by, so it's not too bad. 6.5 tenths there, 5,800 kudos for that. So that's not too bad at all. So we've got one more event to do for the episode, guys. Driving the Audi RS6 in Edinburgh. 2 laps as per usual, and it can be a bit difficult driving in Edinburgh. Some of the sections can be quite difficult, but we do need 1 minute 21.75 per lap. And I did say this in my Let's Play, but the camera always seems very zoomed out when you drive this car. You don't change the settings on it, but it always seems like it's really far away from the car compared to any other car you drive, and I don't know why it only happens with this car. But there we are, something weird. But this car is not too bad actually to drive. Not too bad. It can be quite difficult in some of these sections to navigate. This corner especially, I always brake too late on, but I got it right that time. And this section can be quite hard, this tight, twisty section. It can be hard to get the car turning round and trying to make it look quick as well. It always feels extremely slow when you go around these bits. But doing that fairly tidily, not too bad. And again there, just mounting the curb a little bit, making sure we don't hit the barrier. And now we're on to the easy section of the race with the two straights. Getting this corner right can be a little bit tricky, because you need to carry as much speed through as possible. And we're on the final straight now for the first lap. Can we get under the target? Yes, we can. About half a second under what we need, so that's banked some time for this next lap. See if we can do this one. Doing that corner nicely. And again there, mounting that curb. Can we do this one as well? I think that was better than the first lap, that corner. I think I went a bit wide on the first lap. And going a bit too wide there. But swinging it back out round here, hitting the apex there and the apex there, so we can use a bit more speed coming round here. Not too bad. Flying up the section again. And I don't know how I didn't manage to spin out there. The car did lose control over the bumps to the left, but managed to flick it round to the right and turn it into a pretty decent power slide in the end, so that was pretty lucky there. And I think that's the first time we've hit the wall so far, so that's a clean race lost. Which is a bit annoying, but up until then we were doing really well. Going back onto the second to final straight. But it's looking like a good lap again. If we can take this final corner as well as we did the first time. Going a little bit too wide, but just about saving it before we hit the barrier there. And it wasn't quite as good as the first lap. I think it was about half a second slower, but I think it was just about what we needed per lap. Just about on the target there. And we do pass by half a second. So again, not too bad in terms of how comfortable that was. And each event actually we've gone further away from being comfortable. We started off around a second and we've passed by a smaller amount each time. But we get a fair amount of kudos for that. 6,200 for that event, so that's pretty decent. So that's all the events in this episode done, guys. So we've only got 4 more time runs to do now in the lightning round section. And these have all got 3 laps. So that's the first time 3 laps has come into play. But that'll be for next time, guys. So I hope you enjoyed it, guys. If you did, please like the video. And if you're new and you want to see more videos like this, hit that subscribe or subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next episode.